Hi, welcome back to the garden. Today is Sunday, November 13th. It's still below 32 degrees, so we're not going to open up the cold frames quite yet. So what do you do on a morning like this? The sun feels wonderful, the wind's not too bad, so we can come out here and sit and contemplate the garden. And today we're going to talk about money, and this is not clickbait. This ties into my reading list. We're not going to talk about how we plant stuff, more like why we plant stuff. Come on, let's see what we got. Yeah, it froze a little harder last night. One of the things we've talked about before, if you want to make a small change, change the way you do things. If you want to make a big change, change the way you see things. The 3 books I'm going to talk about today have changed the way I see things. We'll talk about Roost Stout here in just a second. Let's go ahead and open these 2. These are very cold hardy plants, our arugula. And our lettuce. If you want to read a book about gardening, it's got some humor and some wisdom in it. There's Gardening Without Work for the aging, the busy, and the indolent. Roost Stout is synonymous with deep mulch and no weed. Drop your potatoes and throw hay on it. There's quite a bit more to it than that. She was very, very successful. She didn't start her gardening career till later in life. There's a lot of wisdom in this. The other 2 books I'm going to talk about today, The Richest Man in Babylon by Clausen, and The Goal. Now, I know I said we were going to talk about money, and it wasn't clickbait, and it's not. What's the goal of any business, and why do we get out of bed in the morning? It's to make money. But what exactly is money? Money is just a token that we use to trade calories. What exactly are calories? Now, when we were hunter-gatherers, we would just gather all our own food and firewood and shelter. But as society grew, we needed some form to be able to trade amongst ourselves. And right here, what is this squirrel's goal? He's saving up for the winter. He's saving up calories. Calories is just a unit we measure energy, and money really is just a token that we use to transfer those calories from one person to another person. It's a store of energy. What does that have to do with the garden? Food, full of calories. Our goal, money, calories, our garden. If you want to make a small change, change the way you do things. You want to make a big change, change the way you see things. I know, doesn't make any sense. But hang on, Roost Stout's book is titled Without Work. She really only put a couple hours a day into her garden, and that's after she had a leisurely breakfast. It's a pretty funny book. Now, The Richest Man in Babylon talks about putting some money back for yourself. Pay yourself first. Use the power of compounding interest. Both of those things are what we do here on the garden. We lay down the mulch, we let it do its work, we let it compound, and then we get more calories out of the ground than we've put in. We put a couple hours work a day, we expend a few calories, and you've seen the results. It's taken me 50 years to make those kind of connections. Why would I throw a book called The Goal in there, which is about making money for business? Which is not really about that. It's more about taking waste out of processes. And what better way to take waste out of the garden than to not have to weed? I'm simplifying it quite a little bit, because everything is a process. And this time of year, the garden looks a little bleak, but it's actually a store of calories getting ready for next year's production. Now, calories can be looked at as all human production, but it can also be looked at as energy production. And you know, there is no such thing as a perpetual motion machine. This system works because we always get that free sun that comes in. It helps everything out, it gives everything a little kick, and it keeps that whole machine working. So there's more energy coming into your garden than going out of your garden. If we work, our goal is to make money, or a token of exchange for more calories, then we can trade that to somebody else for their calories they put into a product or a service. And if you run a garden, you just added a little bit to your pocket, compounding interest. It all works hand in glove. And this is a great example of compounding. And this is why we save seeds. One seed in the ground with a little bit of energy from the plants, it grows into a plant that makes 100 seeds. You save 10 of those. The next year you got 1,000. The next year you got 10,000. Just compounds. All of these processes, whether you're talking money, whether you're talking gardening, it's all the same thing. It's all about calories. and every person needs around 2,500 just to survive. You got a choice between hauling mulch or sitting down with a cup of coffee and reading a nice book. Bruce Stout's Gardening Without Work. It's pretty funny. It's got a lot of wisdom in it. If you want one of the premier books on money, The Richest Man in Babylon by Clausen. It'll only take you a few hours. It's not very big, and it's got a lot of wisdom in it. If you want a little heavier reading and want to see how to take waste out of processes, The Goal is the way you want to go. I want to thank you for stopping by the garden and listening to me rant about a subject we don't normally talk about. And this is my reading list for this month. As it gets colder and we have more days where we'd rather be inside than out here working, we'll go over a few more books. And until next time, remember, take care of yourself, take care of your family, and God bless you. I guess he's not hibernating. Come on, let's plant.
Let's go plant garden.